Okay, here we go for our comprehension skill, and ironically, we picked this story, fly equal fly, and the comprehension skill for fly equal fly is also cause and effect. So you guys are going to get extra practice at it this week because it's one of the hardest skills for third graders to grasp. So after this, you guys are going to be experts at it. Okay, so I'm just going to turn right here because my kiddos are trying to play in the background. Okay, the sun's in my eyes, right there. But they're not going to play because they're being good listeners, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and share my screen with you so you can watch our comprehension skill video. Here we go.
An effect is something that happens. Effect, effect. A cause is why something happens. Cause, cause. What has happened? Effect, effect. The parrot has flown away. That is the effect. Why did this happen? The boy opened the cage door. That is the cause. The effect is something that happens. What happened here is that the bird flew away. What is the cause? The bird flew away because the boy opened the cage door. That is what caused the bird to fly away. When you read a story, try to identify each thing that happens and why it happens. Identifying cause and effect will help you understand the story and make you a better reader. Cause, effect.
Okay, so if you remember from last week, I explained this as what happened and then why did it happen. So because. This happened because. What happened is the effect. He opened the cage and then that caused the bird to fly away. So here is our activity. Cause and effect, just some review. A cause tells why something happened. It happened because. An effect is what happened. Words such as because and so are clue words that can help you figure out a cause and its effect. Sometimes a clue word is not used. Okay, sometimes you just have to be one of those sleuth detectives and find it on your own. So we're going to read this passage and then we're going to figure out some cause and effects using our graphic organizer. So right now you should go ahead and pause the video and then go get your paper and pencil. All right, let's rock and roll. So go ahead and read the story with me, and you can follow along. Ready, begin. Camouflage is a color or covering that blends with surroundings. Because it is so hard for animals to survive in the wild, some animals use camouflage to keep their enemies from noticing them. A baby deer or fawn has a tan coat with light spots. The spots provide camouflage in the sun-dappled forest. Other animals use tricks to protect themselves. The possum tricks other animals by pretending to be dead. It does this because most other animals will not eat animals they have not killed. Wild animals would not last long if they had no way to hide. They have to be smart so they can find food for themselves and avoid becoming food for other animals. Okay, so on your piece of paper, I want you to go ahead and draw this graphic organizer. So you can turn your paper, instead of being long ways like this, turn it to where it's sideways like this. And then you're gonna draw 2 big squares on the left side and then 4 rectangles, skinny rectangles on the right side, okay? So I'll go ahead and pause the video and do that now. Okay, you got it done? Let's go. So cause, let's fill in the blanks here. Because it is so hard for animals to survive in the wild. So they gave us the cause. Now we have to figure out the effect. What causes them to make it hard for them to survive in the wild? So animals use blank to avoid their enemies. What do you think? We have two of those, so we have to find two different ways. Animals use blank to avoid their enemies. Animals use blank to avoid their enemies. So let's go back up to the top, and can you find two ways that animals, or two things that animals do to avoid their enemies? Let's see. I'll give you a minute. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. If not, I'm going to go ahead and just give the answers now. We're going to go over them, okay? So you should have written down your answers here. You can just write them in the box, or you can write the whole sentence, totally up to you. So animals use, here's my evidence, animals use camouflage to keep their enemies from noticing them. So animals use camouflage to avoid their enemies. And the second way, animals use tricks to protect themselves, to avoid their enemies, okay? So some have camouflage so they can't be seen, or some use tricks so they can't be seen. Okay, now this one we have to do almost completely by ourselves. We have to fill in the blank here and give these right here. So go ahead and pause the video and try to do it by yourself. You can pause here so you can copy this part. And then you can pause here so you can look for your evidence, okay? And when we come back, we'll go over the answers together. You ready? Show me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, so wild animals have to be blank. Let's go back up and look for evidence. Wild animals have to be, they have to be smart. Okay, so wild animals have to be smart. Now, why do they have to be smart? They have to be smart so they can find food for themselves. That's one of them for this one. They also have to be smart so they avoid becoming food for other animals. So this one is so they can find food for themselves, and this one is so they can stay alive, really. Okay, so that is our comprehension skill and activity for this week. Bye, guys.